Hello everyone, this is Stephanie, your CSA coach, and it is week 18B of our CSA shares for the 2024 season. Jumping right into what we have this week, we're seeing a shift to the fall weather, cooler nights, so we're going to see quite a shift into more greens. We have a bag of arugula. I store it just like this in the fridge. Arugula is amazing, just lightly dressed as a salad. You can cook it down and serve it as a side, just like any of our other greens. I prefer it raw, just lightly dressed and minimal toppings, kind of just a little oil, a little vinegar, or a little oil and a little lemon juice, and let the arugula kind of take the flavor of the side. You can serve it, you can put it into a quiche, a frittata. You can saute it down just like our other greens, but stored just like this. And then once you're ready to use it, just like our salad mix, throw it into water, rinse it, get it nice and dry, and then serve it. So that is our arugula. We have bok choy. So bok choy gets stored in the fridge in a Debbie Meyer green bag. Can be served raw. Most often it's cooked, and it makes an amazing addition to a stir fry. There's several recipes on the website for bok choy. The big thing with bok choy is when you go to cook it, your leaves are going to cook quicker than the white part of the bok choy. So I generally cut off the white part, chop that up, kind of like a celery, I guess would be the best way, or dice it up, and then chop up the greens. And if you're just doing a big dish that's just sauteed bok choy, then you're gonna wanna put those white parts in first, saute them down. They're gonna take a little bit longer, and then the green only takes really a couple quick minutes. So you can do it that way. There's a lot of vegetables this week that would make amazing additions to a stir fry. So if you haven't done a stir fry lately, I would suggest doing that because we have so many great produce in our share that would work for that. So bok choy. We have romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is great for a salad. Stored in the fridge in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a Ziploc bag. Once you're ready to use it, rinse the leaves, chop it up, or use the leaves as a vessel for your chicken salad, tuna salad, egg salad, even as a taco shell. Since they're hardier, they can withstand actually using that as a vessel to serve something. You can also top sandwiches, top burgers, dice it up and use it in a salad. So lots of options there. Different from our romaine is our escarole. So see how curly the leaves of the escarole are? And the difference I always use to tell is that nice white bottom. So this is escarole versus this being our romaine. So the leaves are much curlier. Escarole can be eaten raw or it can be cooked. It's great in soups, pairs really well with beans. It's stored exactly the same way. So throw it into a Debbie Meyer green bag or a Ziploc bag. It's pretty large, so I usually throw it in a Debbie Meyer green bag. And then serve it either raw or sauteed. You can add it to a big batch of sauteed vegetables. You can make green cubes out of it. The favorite way that we like using it in our house is the escarole salad, which I believe is from last year's recipes. If you just go on the website and type in escarole, it's probably one of the first recipes that will come up, but it pairs the escarole with a nice dressing and apples and dates. So it's a really good seasonal salad, and it really showcases the flavor of the escarole. My kids aren't the biggest fan of escarole, and they love that salad. So try it if you haven't tried it yet. So that's our escarole. We also have basil again. So basil, I've already taken the elastic band off and then threw it into a jar of water, and this will sit on my countertop. Basil is amazing for pestos, amazing for dressings. You can add it to your sauces. So if you're gonna make a big batch of, we've got a lot of tomatoes this week, you could make a big batch of basil and tomato sauce. You can do a basil dressing. You can do a green sauce with adding a lot of basil. It's just a great flavor. You can actually even do cocktails with basil. You can preserve basil by going back to our herb recipes, which were from a couple weeks ago, where I did the basil olive oil and the basil salt. And this is what my basil salt looks like. And I use it all the time. It's such an amazing flavor. I know Trisha uses hers all the time. It's just a great way to preserve basil in a unique way. So highly recommend that if you haven't tried that yet. But basil's on the countertop, likes to be at room temperature. Couple more items. We have radishes this week. So first thing you want to do with the radishes is take off those green tops. Those are edible too, just like our other greens. Store them in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a Ziploc bag. You can saute them. You can chop them up and serve them raw in like a salad. You can pair them with any of our other greens and make a big batch of green cubes, which is a way to preserve our greens. And then you can use those in sauces, or most often used in smoothies to add some greens to our smoothies. The bottoms, take those off. I just use scissors and I chop off the bottoms. I take those bottoms and throw them into a separate Ziploc bag. And those can be eaten raw. They can be sliced nice and thin on top of salads. You can pickle them. You can also roast them. So roasting them or grilling them really changes their flavor profile. So if you haven't done that, try that. There is a roasted radish recipe on our website. This week's recipe will likely incorporate radishes. So stay tuned for that as one of the items. Stay tuned for that on Thursday. We have potatoes. Potatoes get stored in a cool, dry place. These are cured, so they will last a while. I don't really generally peel my potatoes when I use them. I just scrub them down and I like to keep the skins on them. I chop them up, and most often we do a big sheet pan of potatoes that I roast. Sometimes I will do grill packets. So we do have a lot of vegetables that would work for the grill packets. You can boil them. You can roast them. You can saute them. Try our potato wraps, which was a new recipe this season. And there's also a potato crusted quiche that's been from, I don't know if it was last year or the previous year. That's on the website. But there's lots of ways to use potatoes. Stored in a cool, dry place, away from our onions and garlic. We have delicata squash. So delicata squash gets stored in a cool, dry place as well. This is delicious and such a nice treat. Basically, you are going to scrub this off, make sure you get all the dirt off, and then you do not need to peel delicata. The skin is edible. So I like to slice it into rounds, remove those seeds, and then eat the rounds and top a salad or just serve them as a side. You can also grill them. So same way, slice them into rounds, remove the seeds, and grill those rings, the delicata rings. Makes a great addition. It's nice and sweet. So that's our delicata. We have peppers. So yellow and orange peppers stored in the crisper drawer of our fridge. You can serve these raw. You can chop them up and serve them in our stir fry. You can serve them on top of your salad. You can actually do, if you haven't already done this, you can do the roasted pepper. So most often our roasted peppers are red, like when we buy them in the store, but they don't have to be red. They can be any color. So you can roast these, follow the instructions on the website, and then preserve them in olive oil and garlic, and they make a great addition on top of basically anything on top of your salads, as an addition in your charcuterie boards, party platters, all different things. You can even top like a piece of chicken with some roasted pepper. So if you have a lot of these, do that. The other big thing that we use these for is the sheet pan fajita meal, which is also on the website. We do that often because the kids love it. It's easy. And then I usually double the recipe and they have it for lunches to take with them to school. So those get stored in the crisper drawer. We also got to pick 3 hot peppers, stored in the fridge in the crisper drawer, just like our other peppers. You can collect a bunch of them, and in a couple weeks, if you don't have enough now, make a hot pepper sauce. So that was recently posted. You can add them to your salsas. We have so many tomatoes this week. You could do a pico de gallo. You could do like a blender salsa. So those are all easy ways to use up our hot peppers. But basically, your hot peppers are going to be used to add heat to a recipe. So if you're making a chili, use your hot peppers to add heat. If you're making a salsa, use your hot peppers. Most of the heat in a hot pepper comes from the seeds and the membranes on the inside. So if you want less heat, remove the seeds and remove the membranes, and then you'll get less heat. Keep those in, and you will get more heat. Also try our hot pepper honey. So I just recently made another batch of that. I like to keep that in stock often because it's just a great addition to salad dressings, and a great way to season like a lemonade, or sweeten a lemonade in a different way with a little bit of spice as well. Last but not least, we have our tomatoes. These get stored on the counter at room temperature. We have a lot of these this week. So if you wanted to make a roasted tomato sauce, if you want to make some salsas, if you want to do like a blender salsa, that would work as well. You can also just slice them up, sprinkle some basil salt on top of them and eat them. If you're getting the bread share, the bread this week is really delicious. So you could slice these up and do a tomato sandwich with a little sea salt. You could do BLTs. You can add these to burgers. You can add them, chop them up and use them for tacos, or you can just simply add them on top of our arugula and make an arugula and tomato salad. That is it for this week. Take a look at what you have left from previous weeks. Make sure you use that stuff up first. And then focus probably on the arugula and our greens. The rest of the stuff should probably last. But take a look at what you have left and really focus on what you have left last week. I will see you all again next Tuesday.